You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's from Monco Destroyer, who says, rant about spoilers. Does knowing what's going to happen ruin a story or make it better? So, a few years back, I did this long podcast with me and a bunch of the PCP guys arguing about spoilers, where I was the only person in defense of spoilers. They were all against it. But generally, I don't care that much about spoilers. I will say, though, I don't like to be spoiled for something I'm about to watch. Like, if I'm literally going to watch it right now, like I already plan on watching it, I would rather not be thinking about the spoiler while I watch it. Like, if I hear that something happens in this movie and then I go to watch it, like, all I'm going to be thinking about is when does that happen, Which is not the same if it's, been some time or something like that. But, like, if it's a show I haven't seen or I'm not planning to watch right now, it might make me more interested in the story to hear a spoiler. There's tons of stuff that I was not interested in until I heard about something interesting that happens in it. I mean, perfect example, which I think I talked about in that podcast, was Game of Thrones. I was not interested in watching that show until I saw the Red Wedding scene when my mom was watching it, and I thought, oh, that's a crazy plot twist. That's really cool. I want to see what happens in this, what leads up to this moment, So there's been plenty of shows that I literally have only watched because of spoilers. There's also been shows where I have avoided spoilers forever just because there's a mystique around the show. Like, I've never read spoilers for, now of course they'll get posted, but I've never read spoilers for Shadow Skill because all I've ever heard is that it gets really crazy and fucked, and I've never read the rest of it, even though I read all of Bokurano, and obviously that was crazy and fucked. But, like, I don't really know the nature of how it's crazy and fucked. I assume it's very sexual because that's the only thing that would make people react the way they do to it. But, I've never spoiled myself just because I feel like it would rob the mystique of that manga, as this ooh, like, as soon as I know it won't be interesting anymore, I mean, maybe I'll like the manga, but I know I'm going to read it eventually, or at least I hope I'm going to read it eventually. I mean, do I even really care if I get spoiled? No. Like, I've never gotten spoiled for something and then been like, oh, it's ruined for me. No. Like, again, it's just a little annoying to hear a spoiler right before you go into something and then just be like, okay, well, like, all I could think about is the fact that I know this is going to happen, But, like, other than that, I don't even consider the first pass through a story to be that valuable. Like, yeah, you might have a big reaction to it, but I don't know. Some people really value that momentary experience of, like, remembering how they felt when they saw it for the first time. And that's not the interesting part of media for me. Like, I'm much more interested in media from a meta context, how it all slots together, what it tells me about the creator, what it feels like, just all the intimate details of its construction, I rarely consider plot to be, like, the main thing I like about a series. So, yeah, like, if something is good, it will be good even if you know what's going to happen. Any of my favorite shows are shows that I've watched multiple times and still enjoyed. So yeah, I don't think there's ever been a case where, like, knowing what was going to happen just ruined something for me. I really don't think it could be ruined if it was good. Like, if it could be ruined by knowing what happens, then it sucks. Then you're going to rewatch it and go, oh, this sucks. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it makes a story better necessarily. I think it can. There are some shows that I think knowing the spoilers helped me to get through earlier parts where, maybe maybe I wouldn't have caught on to what was being set up, to then be subverted by the spoiler, whereas knowing it beforehand, like, a lot of people will say, like, oh, when you rewatch it and you notice all the details that you wouldn't have before the plot twist, that's a valuable thing, but you can also just have that on the first time viewing, and it can also be a really exciting way to watch something, like knowing the spoiler and then noticing all the hints and being like, oh shit, this movie's really well made. It fucking, I bet I wouldn't have caught all that. So, yeah, I don't think it can really ruin a story, but it can be annoying.